It's Saturday evening. It's time to talk about the very best comic books in the world with our good friend Drew, who's incognito mode, but still ready to talk about comic books.
Yes, incognito mode, mission top secret, destination unknown, but let's talk about these best comics of the week.
I'm having a lot of blowback on my personal enjoyment of the current ongoing ASM. I think what Joe Kelly has done has really reinvigorated the character. I don't think this is the greatest ASM run in the history of worlds, but I'm really starting to invest in what he's doing, what he's kind of building here. I'm enjoying what Michael Dowling, the guest artist this week, is bringing to the table. And while I'm finding this very enjoyable, every time I talk about me liking this Amazing Spider-Man run from Joe Kelly, I get all kinds of hate. Where is that hate coming from, Drew? Why do you guys all hate this book so much?
I don't hate it. You know, it's an interesting book. It's taking a different approach. And this issue was vastly head-scratchingly weird and different. It's better. I'll say that it's better than Zeb Wells' run, where you had Paul being introduced, breaking up Peter and MJ, and Peter nuking a town. This is leaps and bounds better than what anything Zeb Wells did.
I feel like people have really imprinted the dislike and the hate that they had from the Zeb Wells run, and the fact that Joe Kelly did come in, I guess, for the last 9 issues or so and had his 8 Deaths of Spider-Man story go on there, and they've just transferred it to him, and they aren't really giving this a shot, whereas we're kind of building out a different Peter Parker. There's clearly something wrong with him. He's going out there. He's more violent. He's more physical. He's not really taking his responsibility so serious, and we've had the introduction of Hellgate, but nobody wants to give it a shot and kind of hear Joe Kelly out on this run.
I will say, probably the one thing that did upset some certain Spider-Man fans, I guess you could say the retconning of Peter when he was a kid, turning him into a rebel, and just pretty much talking back, being smart to Aunt May and Uncle Ben. A lot of fans weren't happy with that, which can be alienating to fans. It's still a decent run, and it's better than what Zeb Wells did. I did enjoy this issue. I thought it was weird, but I did enjoy it. I love the mystery of it. I love seeing a Spider-Man with the 1970s TV show web shooters running around. And it's a very interesting cliffhanger. I hope it follows through. I hope there's a good follow-through with this build-up, with this mystery, because it's something pretty cool.
Well, yeah, he's going to have to do some explaining. They haven't even explained Hellgate yet. And then we got the big cliffhanger here that maybe Spider-Man or Peter Parker, or even both, aren't actually Spider-Man or Peter Parker.
Yeah, it could be a case of Matt and Mike Murdock, but I hope it is not that case here. But regardless, the next issue should hopefully be good. I know JR is coming back, which is disappointing, but I like the artist in this issue. He did a decent job drawing the Shocker. I don't think he's ever looked more badass than in this issue. But hopefully we get to see more of the guy in the future.
And hopefully people start giving this run a chance. I'm not saying it's the greatest ASM run of all times or anything like that, but it is very, very solid. It's a move in the right direction, and he's building some things that I think are worth checking out.
I agree. It's not the best. It's not the worst, but it's better than what we got with Zeb Wells.
Well, anything would have been better than Zeb Wells. Let's give him some more credit than that. But now let's get to the comic books we're definitely going to recommend, starting out with G.I. Joe number 10, Josh Williamson writing, Andrea Milana on art. This is a very good follow-up to the previous issue where we saw CoverGirl stab Baroness in the back. They're still in the pit. Blood is still looking down on him. Raptor is still chasing down Baroness's family. Really exciting stuff. How are they going to manipulate him? Who's turning on who? Set up all kinds of really good drama and tension in those moments, but it gets bigger than that. We finally have Destro discovering that Cobra Commander is not being 100% forthright with him. He's doing some experiments. He's got access to technology that Destro doesn't even know about. And then maybe the most exciting thing is the stuff going on with Clutch and the Transformers.
I loved this issue. The main reason why is because it's so like the long-running G.I. Joe series by Larry Hama. Normally, when you have 3 different plots going on, 1 or 2 is usually better than the other. However, all 3 here are fascinating, fun, action-packed, and leave you wanting more. By the end of this issue, not only am I psyched for the Hound and Clutch storylines, but I want to know what happens next in the other storylines, especially with Destro and Cobra Commander. Josh Williamson, he continues to tell an awesome story here. And Andrea Milana, while not the main artist, does an amazing job as a fill-in artist, and I hope we see more of him in the future. This is my pick for Pick of the Week, Wes. This is an absolute blast.
I can see where you're coming from. It's not exactly my pick. I think I have another book that I like a little bit more. Hyde Street, number 8, Jeff Johns writing, Ivan Reis on art, my pick of the week. Jeff Johns has done a really good job world building and pacing this book up. And we got some huge revelations in here. We got the introduction of Dr. Ego, maybe my favorite resident yet. Just the way he spoke and the cadence that he had. I could hear his voice in my head when they're talking about how they're going to remove this Wolfman mask from Frankie's face or whatever. And there's some pretty huge reveals regarding apparently maybe a Hyde Street murder that's going to come and kill the residents. And Ivan Reis, his art is just completely impeccable in this issue. That's the best illustrated issue of Hyde Street yet.
We've given some praise to Ivan Reis, but I really want to hammer home again to people who are just now checking out the videos on your channel. Ivan Reis, he's been doing this for a very, very long time. And you can tell toward the end of his DC stuff that he was getting kind of bored. But here in this series, Hyde Street, he has found new life, and this is some of the best work of his career, bar none. It is fantastic. This issue was a lot of fun. Yeah, Pranky with the wolf boy turns into a wolf boy with that mask, and he has to go get help from the one person we didn't think he would get help from, but it's kind of a quid pro quo, if you will, between the two, and I like that. And then we get, stuff going on with Sisterhood and the new character, Dr. Ego. I love all these characters on Hyde Street. They are so unique, different in their own ways, but they all got that same goal, what they want to do, and they're trying not to get in each other's way. Most are, at least. But I had an absolute blast with this issue. It's a lot of fun. Arguably, I'm going to say probably the best illustrated book this week. Ivan Reis is still the best, hands down, and he found new life here. If you're not checking out Hyde Street, guys, check it out.
Definitely. If you're a horror fan, that's one of the best, if not the best, horror books out there. Also going to recommend Battle Beast number 4, Robert Kirkman writing, Ryan Otley on art. And this is probably my favorite issue thus far. I love Battle Beast arriving on this planet with this alien that's got a robot body now that he's accidentally saved time and time again. They go and save the computer from the ship, which they probably shouldn't do because it wants to kill Battle Beast. And as they're going through the planet, there's a honeypot, a beautiful alien saying, "Oh my goodness, you're so big and strong. Maybe you could save me." Battle Beast had the right instincts. No time, and I don't trust you. Unfortunately, the other little alien thinks that maybe they should help some people out there. And we learned some more information about this home planet and what this colossus that Battle Beast is hopefully going to get killed by. At least that's what he's hoping for. And I just thought this was a really fun, really intense gore fest, over the top. Really enjoyed it.
When the series started, I wasn't the biggest fan. I understand what they're trying to do. I wasn't really that familiar with Battle Beast, but each issue has gotten better, and this is the best yet. And like you said, our characters, they finally arrive on Prince Salaka's home world. But are things as he remembers? Have things changed for the better or worse? You got to read to find out. Yeah, this issue had a lot of comedy to it, especially with a certain female sorceress. This is incredibly well drawn. It has one hell of a cliffhanger. I actually said, wait, that's it? You're going to end it there? Come on, no, I want more. A good cliffhanger, wanting more, and they do that here with Battle Beast number 4. Do check this out, guys.
Battle Beast has been an absolute hoot, and it's great to see Ryan Otley doing something that he's clearly wanting to do again, because he wasn't trying nearly as hard at Marvel. Not that he wasn't putting in an effort, but you can see he's loving this one. Speaking of Marvel, we'll go over there. We got a comic book to recommend from them. Marvel All-on-One, number 1, Ryan North writing, Ed McGuinness on art. And this is a comic book that is a series of splash pages with the story being told inside of it. So there's no panels. Everything is just a glorious piece of art by Ed McGuinness. And that is the selling point, and that's the reason to buy the story, in my opinion. Probably a little overpriced at $8, but Ed McGuinness, with every single splash page on here, makes the thing look like $1 million. The story is take it or leave it, but the action, the adventure, and the wonderful pages of comic book art, I think, are worth your time and money. We haven't seen the thing look this good in quite some time.
You hit the nail on the head here, Wes. The one compliment I can give this book is the art. Yeah, Ed McGuinness has masterfully illustrated an incredibly beautiful book of splash pages. But when it comes to Ryan North, only he could take a premise that should be a kick-ass comic of splash pages and make it incredibly boring, laborious, and tedious. his prose and pacing killed this comic. I think I fell asleep standing up when I was halfway through this. I don't know how Ryan does it, but only he can ruin what should be a fun, kick-ass comic. It's impure and not what it should be. Look, if you want to read a great version of this, read Destroy by Scott McCloud. It is fantastic. It's pure all-out action and destruction in oversized 11 by 17 pages. That's what this should have been, not nap time.
Don't let Drew get you down. The art is absolutely worth it. Just ignore the words. They're inconsequential to what you're buying. That's what you have to realize.
I agree. Yes, do not read this. You will fall asleep.
Moving over to DC, because we got a couple more comic books to recommend. Absolute Batman, number 11, Scott Snyder writing, Clayman on art. There have been a few different fill-in artists for Nick Dragotta on this series. None of them have been worthy or lived up to the title. Clayman finally does that, even adjust his art style a little bit to accommodate the more gritty nature of Absolute Batman. And we get a really fantastic backstory on this Absolute Bane, which is easily the highlight of the book. We do get into some crazy territory showing what Bane is doing to Batman that is very over the top and apropos of what Absolute Batman has been thus far. But I think this is another home run for Absolute Batman and Scott Snyder.
This issue was something, man. I gotta say that. Yeah. So we have the often wasted by Tom King Clayman on fill-in art here, and he kills it in this issue. Everything from the booty butt cheeks of the babes on the beach to the physical monstrosity of Bane, it's all glorious. He's utilizing a new art style here that mixes like Sean Gordon Murphy, his style, and Nick Dragotta. And you know what? It looks really damn good. If Clay took over as a new artist on Absolute Batman with this style, take my money now. This is solid. Yeah, so the narration of Alfred, I wasn't crazy about it, but it's good telling the story. You're pretty much, they took the Chuck Dixon, Graham Nolan origin story, but with tweaks to it, minor alterations, and I'm fine with that. It was good. And we start expanding upon the universe as well with hints of other DC characters who have also taken the venom that Bane has. And hopefully we'll get to see them as well in the future. I'm going to give it this recommend. This is an insane issue. It's glorious. And by the end of this, I had to read this twice. I'm like, wait a minute. Was that Bane? Was that Batman? I couldn't tell. I think it was Batman. I don't know.
Definitely venomized Batman.
Okay, yeah, because there's a point in it before that where it's just like, he looks like let's just say the Black Man from Monty Python, the Holy Grail. But yeah, this is an absolute thrill of a comic book. I enjoyed it. Yeah, everything from the booty butt cheeks of Clayman to the monsters. This is an absolute blast.
It is definitely an insane comic book, but you got to know that coming in because it's been an insane series. Our final recommendation, Detective Comics 1100, with various people. We got Tom Taylor, Michael Yaden, Greg Rucka, Alvaro Martinez Bueno, Bill Sienkiewicz. I believe Dan Waters is in here. I think even Marinko Tamaki. Now, if this was an $8 comic book, I probably wouldn't recommend it, but it's a $6 comic book, and I do think the Tom Taylor and the Greg Rucka stories alone are worth the $6. The Tom Taylor is the highlight. A boy lost his dog. Batman goes and saves him. Turns out that he's deaf, and Batman takes Ace, and they go on the hunt to save the dog. How could you not like a story like that? It's a completely silent issue. Makes a whole lot of sense, and Michael Yanen owns that story. Greg Rucka's is a little bit more introspective on the effects of Batman on the city of Gotham. Very well told. We have a newer nurse going in, talking to somebody that's been at the hospital for a long time, explaining what Gotham was like before Batman arrived. And yeah, there's a lot of concussions, and there's bruises and all that kind of stuff, but there's far less bodies than there used to be because Batman has cleaned the city up so much, showing positive effects on the city. And I think for those two alone, it's worth it. The Bill Sienkiewicz art on the Dan Waters story is fantastic, but the Dan Waters story is bunk.
It's interesting. I'll say that how it ends. I'm like, wait a minute. That sounds like a Looney Tunes ending, what you just described there. I don't know, but it was wild. But yeah, I did love the Greg Rucka story here, and I'm surprised he still had it in him, to tell a story this solid. And as well as Mariko Tamaki, I was surprised there wasn't any Fousey talk in this book. It was interesting. And the Tom Taylor one, yeah, I mean, I got to give Michael Janin, more credit. He is getting better as an artist. Early on in his career, you could tell he was doing a lot of tracing Google imagery when he was doing his art. Here, you can tell he is legitimately drawing these pages, and Batman looks awesome in that story. So yeah, and for almost like an anniversary issue 1100 Detective, yeah, this is worth $6. These stories are solid, and yeah, I recommend this, guys. You're gonna be very interested in some of these stories because some of them will probably alter your perceptions on Batman and Gotham.
It's weird how Tom Taylor is a much better writer on these like one-shot stories, but if he tries to put a whole story together, he kind of messes everything up. But that one's definitely worth it. You don't have to have read anything going on in Detective Comics, and you can jump right in on 1100 and enjoy the book. If you would like some more stuff like this, we do have the Hot or Not podcast, not only on Thinking Critical Patreon, but we've got it on channel memberships. If you aren't a member yet, why not? There's a link in the video description. Hope to see you there or on the Patreon very, very soon.